Welcome back to my Commodore 64 Memories videos. This is where I look at old Commodore 64 software and some of the technical details behind them. Today we have Cyberdyne Warrior, released in 1989 by Hewson, developed by Apex Computer Productions, basically John and Steve Rowlands. I've been wanting to have a look at this game for quite some time. I think this was John and Steve's first game, or first real commercially available game. But even though it's one of their really early games, I think it has quite a lot of attention to detail in it, which is great. But it also kind of has a lot of style and details that will carry forward into their other later released games. So let's get into this. So we start with this rather lovely little colour swooshing effect behind the main Cyberdyne Warrior logo there. And kind of like this colour palette for the raster bars and the pulsing colour palettes as well for the characters. They're kind of very commonly used, I would say, which is, it's a good thing. I mean, it's kind of like a stylistic choice, I think. But the music in this as well is certainly a stylistic choice. I mean, you listen to this music and you immediately know that it's a Steve Rowlands composition here. The sound effects, the kind of like bouncing full bass line that's going on in this music is very typical of the style of Steve Rowlands. Then we get into this nice little intermission get ready screen with an animating character and the same kind of like sprite effect in the background there. I think that's pulsating, kind of like, yes, color. Oh, well, the sprites aren't color cycling, but the sprites are moving kind of like behind. So but you can see there's some sprites as well in the animating logo. But yeah, those sprites in the get ready logo. Let's make the sprites visible. There we go. So the get ready logo is black on black sprites, well, transparent, and it shows the transparency for the sprites behind. But yeah, the opaque color was also black. I forced it to white, and you can see where it's rendering the get ready logo. If I move down, there we go. There's the get ready logo, force colored to white now, so that the opaque pixels are white. The transparent pixels are still black, but of course, because they're transparent, they're showing the lower priority sprites behind. And you can see how the colors and how the sprites move across to generate that nice color fading effect, which I think is really cool. Looking at the main game display, this is a static, kind of like flip screen shooter, run and gun, if you like. But as I move the targeting cursor up and down, you can see how this screen is so colorful, even though it's just a normal multicolor text screen, not bitmap. It looks almost bitmap-ish though, right, with the color variation, and the color variation comes from, of course, carefully timed raster splits and also color ramp updates as well. We can see that there's two character sets being used, one at 4800 for the game, and then one at 5000 for the score panel. But we can see as well that this game sometimes uses Y expanded, sometimes X expanded sprites for some of the animations. It's also using multiplexing to a certain degree. Maybe it's zone-based or something like that. Maybe it's a full multiplexer, who knows? But yeah, we can see as we move the targeting cursor up and down the screen where those sprites are switched on and switched off and where the definitions change. But it does, you can see the red bounding boxes in this debug mode here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 sprites on the screen. I think the player character had 2 sprites kind of like overlaid because it gives the player character extra definition. Extra detail is always nice and good. But yeah, you can see where the raster splits are used for the color the extended, well, it's not extended, the extra multicolor colors, those extra 2 registers are carefully timed and updated to provide a nice variation of color as it goes down the screen. You can see here, look, when when the animation for that character was moving back, it was actually moving the sprite, even though it was transparent or mostly transparent. Oh, well, look at that. The blob, well, the bullet which comes out as the green blob, look, when it moves the sprite back, but as an empty sprite frame, look. Oh, that's intriguing. You wouldn't normally see that, but with the debugger, with the red bounding boxes, we can see, look, that it's actually a looping movement path for the animation of the blob or whatever it is being spat out of the green monster. But when you look at it on the emulated output, of course, the transparent sprite, you don't see it. You wouldn't normally see these red bounding boxes around the sprite. So yeah, we can see that it's on kind of like a cyclical path, but the animation frames have obviously been tweaked to make the return path a non-visible sprite, but it's still rendering the sprite. That's really quite funny. You know, I would have tended to have just made the animation restart at the new position rather than go back to the old position with a non-visible sprite frame. But hey, there we go. You know, if you've got an animation routine and it's just going to loop around, then you might as well tweak it, I suppose, to just change the animation frames that are visible. Maybe it was an optimization, but that's just quite funny. In the debug view here, we can see those kind of like same sprites which are being used to make the colors appear behind the text and swipe a nice range of colorful sprites with graduated fills, basically overlapping sprites as well. So the light blue overlaps with green, which overlaps with the yellow. Look, with those kind of like feathered edges to the left-hand portion of the sprite there. So that's a really good use of color, a really good use of background priority sprites, so that the text in the foreground takes precedence and it just kind of like shines through with those sprites there. I think that's a really good technique. You can see that they're Y expanded as well, and also double heighted in terms of 2 horizontal rows of the same kind of like sprites duplicated vertically. Yeah, really nice. It's actually a simple effect, but it looks really, really nice. I've always liked that effect for that logo. Again, the use of colors, the use of moving colors, pulsating colors, is a very consistent style throughout the Rowlands' games. Playing the game in the debugger lets you see exactly where the sprites are. So the sprites, which you would have normally looked a bit like background graphics, they were actually sprites. Let's just die here. I just wanted to see what the game over sequence. Ah, yeah, that's right. It just draws a whole bunch of animating sprites over the level, rapidly scrolling it left and right with the pixel level scroll. Of course, the game over logo is black opaque sprite with coloured sprites behind it again. Let's have a quick little look in ICU64 now. C64 debug GUI was getting a little bit unreliable as I was trying to play through the game. Just want to have a look through the graphics maps so we can see that the second Vic bank there is full of sprite graphics, plus what look like the 2 character sets as well, and of course the screen data. We've got more sprites as well up in the last Vic bank, which probably gets swapped out with what's in the second Vic bank for the game display. So there's a ton of sprites in this game. It's a nice single load as well. I just wanted to have a look at the shop sequence as well. There we go. Nice raster bars with pulsating colours and opposite scrolling colour bars as well, with the multicolours for the for the text. Again, a very strong reused style in most of the Rowlands games. I do love this style that they have, actually. It was quite a good inspiration when I was very young and wanting to code my own games as well. I would often look to the Rowlands' games. I turned on cheat modes for everything. I'm going to skip the level now. I just wanted to have a look at the next level intermission thing. Again, scrolling starfield with nice scrolling color bar effects in the characters. Again, looking very, very nice. It's a really good between level kind of like bonus accumulation score counting type thing as well. Really, really well presented, these games, even when this is their earliest, I think, first commercial game. I think it's still really, really well presented. This level stylistically is different. It kind of like reminds me of some Creatures 1's levels, right? But what I do like about this level is, look, you can walk behind portions of the foreground here. So the red and pink portions have priority. So the sprites are set up so that they are behind certain colors in the multicolor character set. So the sprites are in front of the gray color, but they're behind the other two colors for the multicolor characters there. I think that works really, really well. You have to be careful what colors you choose where, but when you choose what multicolor colors you're using for your characters and how you're using them, then the sprite priority trick that is being used there for that effect was it's really very powerful. Really does stand out quite significantly. There's a nice expanded sprite there, using animation frames for the large character that you could destroy, of course. There's a lot of animation actually going on in this second level. I feel that there's more animation going on in this second level compared to the first. I really do like this second level. There's a good amount of color, but also background variation as well. There we go. Look, you can see the sprite priority working with background, foreground colors there in that previous screen. Really quite fantastic. Let's go back. There we go. Isn't that great? Fantastic. Y expanded sprites as well, I think, for the little spiky things coming down, whatever they are, roots or something. Tendrils coming down from the ceilings. I kind of cheated again. Let's get to the third level. And again, the third level has another different style as well. Large, well, not very large, but nice, large-ish combined sprites. There's quite a lot of extra animation for animated characters going on here. So for the price of, I think, probably updating 2 characters in the character set, we're getting all these lovely pulsing lasers in time with the movement of the other enemy characters as well. Just helps to really set the theme for this level, this kind of like industrial metallic kind of theme. But yeah, really fantastic level, this one. I like all the levels in this game, actually. I think they're really well drawn, really well animated, put together. I mean, I worked on a flip screen kind of run and gun as well. The difficult thing with flip screen kind of like shooters like this is that you have to be really careful with the map design, otherwise it can feel a bit unfair. But this game has been tweaked and polished really well, so it doesn't really feel that unfair. There's not very much unexpected when I look at those. What's that? That's a 2x2 bouncing sprite, I think there. Just, great big bubbles. Ooh, that's unusual. There's a CPU jam. Okay. So back to the game. I just wanted to have a quick little look at the ending sequence, see what that looks like. I think it's reusing pretty much the kind of like level intermission screen code by the looks of this, but it's always nice having a proper message. And then the high score entry with, wow, that quite aggressive scrolling color bar effect in the background. So yes, if you like these kind of technical deep dive videos, then please do consider liking or subscribing to this channel, or sending me a super thanks. They are always very much appreciated. Take care, have a great day, evening or night, wherever you are.